So I'll just, maybe for thought starters to move forward, again, just want to emphasize this isn't the only solution, but it's a solution that's been in play for several years. There's an opportunity for us to work together, plug into an existing event, leverage 75 years of National Wildlife Federation, 40 years of Ranger RIC content, and also we have marketing channels. I've listed several of them there. We have 4 million members. We have 3 children's publications in our member magazine. We have a celebrity spokesman, Dave Mizejewski. Our social media, we recently worked with a group of mommy bloggers. We call them our founding mothers. So we have about 12 mommy bloggers that blog on our behalf and talk about our messages. For many of you all, I know that's not an asset you have at the ready, but maybe through partnership we can get them to, Ruth and I were just talking, maybe we can get a couple of the mommy bloggers to go to some of the state parks and blog about the experience, just like we were talking about with
Great Wolf Lodge.
Great Wolf, you can tell them from Great Wolf Lodge. So same sort of premise. How can we work together to create an opportunity to push forward our common goals and make the best leverage our resources together? So I leave you with that.
Thanks. I think we see some really great examples with the National Wildlife Federation. I'd like to kind of kick off the questions that Frank put out about, we have about 20 minutes. It might be useful, I don't know if I'm stealing this thunder from your afternoon sessions, but to ask the floor, what are some of your thoughts of how would you define success of this Great Outdoors Month, Great Outdoors Day? How should we define success? Obviously this is not one of those questions that has a right answer, so I think it would be useful to have kind of a conversation about it. Any thoughts about how you would define success?
I think we have to come up with metrics, but I think awareness is crucial, just in terms of awareness of the benefits of recreation, in terms of health and some other kinds of things, and how many people, and particularly we look at an audience like National Wildlife Federation has defined, the moms or something like that, how many American moms see activities outdoors as healthy for their kids. So some kind of metric like that. And the second is actual visitation or experiences. And we should be looking for ways to tie in things like fee-free park days and other kinds of things to drive traffic to a place and be prepared when people come. Because it's very important, particularly as we're looking at expanding the market to people who don't normally go to a park. They need more help in terms of when they arrive to have a good experience. Just a little story, John Jarvis, the director of the Park Service, talks about how he went into Yosemite Valley 4 years ago with the then superintendent and saw a substantial increase in terms of the Hispanic visitation compared to what he had previously seen. And he said, well, this is really good. But the park superintendent said, it's really good except that if you see, the only place in Yosemite you will see the Hispanic visitors is right here in the valley, in the stores, in the restaurants, because they know how to do stores and restaurants, and nobody is helping them now see the rest of the park. And this was, an important admission on the part of that park superintendent that he had to do more, that he really didn't have guides that were equipped to start in the valley stores and take people out on a hike. So it was all about just trying to, okay, we've gotten them here to the park, they paid their $25 to get in, are we now helping them understand the rest of what they can do? So I guess I would say that I think Frank's offer is wonderful. I think we do need to bring people together to come up with some measurable ways to define what success is that everybody agrees to. That's what partnerships are all about, agreeing on what success looks like.
Question.
Well, I would suggest, piggybacking on your last one, I think that the new recruit concept, in my mind, how much through our effort do you actually see a delta from what your common use and the new users? And if you can get a handle on that, then you begin to talk about your measure of success. I don't have all the metrics in my mind, but that's where I'd be looking at is basically what we're talking about is the recruiting program and how we're doing in new recruits.
Well, I guess that again defines what your objective is. If it's simply awareness, well, that's one set of tactics. If it's actual improvement in metrics, that's another set of tactics. these are the types of things I think we need to look at. I would say that it's probably mostly been an awareness campaign and
Yes.
try to tie in these various different events that are going on and make people aware. But I got to tell you, that's very difficult to. I mean, just 4 years ago when I started RBFF, it was primarily a TV and print campaign. We have so many more channels to get information out now. It's incredible where people are getting their information, getting their news, and they're driving it. No longer can you put a message out and use the traditional methods of getting it out there. You've got to think, how is the consumer consuming this information? So there's nothing wrong with this being an awareness campaign, but I think tactically some of the things that we've done in the past have to change to take advantage of the new environment and how people are consuming information these days.
I was sitting here and I've been listening to what everyone has said, and it's really been great because I am a true believer of partnerships. But when I think about what does success look like, I think that it looks reflective of this United States. And so then I ask the question, how do we go out and get non-traditional partners, and bring them in? I think that it's really important that when we have partnerships and we're trying to reach the kids, it's really important to have people that are reflective of them. And so, I could probably go on and on with this, but I'm sitting here thinking, this is great, but we need to look at thinking of ways of getting non-traditional folks into recreation. Because when you start talking about moms, most moms, 95% of them care about their children, and they want the best for their kids. So we need to strategize and come up with ways to reach all of our children and not just one population. So just wanted to throw that out
Absolutely, absolutely.
For me, part of the success of a program is that we can help the people who are going to be implementing the program. We can create a program at a high level, we can get very excited about it, but by the time it transfers down through the agency, through whoever is going to implement it, they're going, oh my God, how am I going to do this? And what we need to do is help create a simple pathway that can get those managers excited about this as well. And it may be a variety of things, but it has to not overwork or increase the workload once you get down to the level where it's going to be implemented. And so to me, success is trying to figure that out so that we can help those managers. And it may be something as simple as the examples that you just gave, start out here, start out here. Give them a step process that they can start to get excited about money.
Yeah, you, and then was there a happy one too? Yeah, actually, he's first and then you.
First of all, I want to thank Mary Margaret for not slamming the great and underappreciated state of New Jersey, which is a major national recreation area, and also, of course, has parts of the state. And that's why the issue of diversity is something that is very dear to my heart. There are so many people, millions of people living a mile, less than a mile, from many of our facilities who never go there. And it's puzzled apart for almost 40 years now how to make those connections. And some of them are easy to pinpoint. Well, transportation stinks, so, if you don't have a car, how do you get to us without showing on a bus and all that? But I think one answer to that is to be able to, when we do reach out to these groups, to create activities where people can see themselves in the park. Instead of seeing a national park as a place where those people, other people I see on TV, but not me and my friends and my family go, but a place where maybe I myself have planted a sapling. And then you want to show your parents, hey look, I just planted a sapling, You should go out and see this. This is this thing. We literally have had visitors at Gateway, and I'm not talking children, I'm talking about college interns who've never seen vegetables grow until they went to our community garden and put them in the field, and never seen that. Okay. So how do we make these personal connections? And here's my point as an educator. You cannot design everything under one roof. Sorry, Gaylord. But you have to design multiple paths so that people can choose their own paths based on what interests them, what the level of difficulty, and you know how much time they have. So as we're looking at these different solutions, I hope that we remember that first element of this should be free choice and not something that we think should be in the schedule. Let's not schedule them for that. Let's not be helicopter parents. Let's bring people in, invite them in, and then offer support when we can, and let them explore.
Frank, I too am from New Jersey.
It's up with John,
I love this room.
Just me.
Go New Jersey. So, I'm with the Fish and Wildlife Service, and I'm on the steering committee of Partners Outdoors at Great Outdoors. And I know this is a topic that's been going on for years and years and years. How do we make Great Outdoors bigger and better? How do we make Partners Outdoors bigger and better? And one of the things that you mentioned, Frank, that I really liked was what does success look like and who's our audience? And I think of, because so many great ideas have come out of here, and I look at the proclamations, and I look at the State Bill of Rights, but then the question is okay, so what? What's the next step? And I was just sitting here thinking about, wow, wouldn't it be great, we're talking about partnerships and stuff, is get somebody like the ad campaign to do, I think of the ad Got Milk, and that's, you know, across all lines, all audiences, all, you know, rich, poor, and I also think about the Michelin ad, little baby and the tire and the impact that had about safety. And I'm just wondering if there's not a way that we could maybe get the ad council or somebody to do an ad, you know, about nature, you know, Got Nature or something, and you can use different, you know, targeting your different audiences. You can have a kids, you can have an adult, you can have, you know, a diverse audience, and then you could take that, and again, it's, you know, reaching out beyond our boundaries, and it might be, you know, partnered with the for-profits, you know, agencies like the ad council is. But then you can, I like your stepping stone ideas, and you can take that, and you've got this major ad, you know, Got Nature or something, and you step it down to your backyard, something very simple, your backyard. Then you step it down to your neighborhood, then you step it down to your community, and then you step it down to your plants.
And that's why it's so critical that if you did something like that, which might be doable, particularly if you could tie it into something the White House is doing, and get a little push from the top there, from the Let's Move group, who doesn't have any money and doesn't have any clout, but they have clout, they don't know it. But then, what do you drive them to take advantage of what you're doing here, what we're doing, what the parks are doing? You still need that central location, which rec.gov could then be. Now, this may not all get happen by this June, but I mean, this could be a longer-term vision.
I think it's a good idea to create an overarching theme where we can play on health, we can play on the importance of getting outside, the statistics, you know, thinking of the safety, the Michelin piece, work around parents' fears of having their kids outside. Also, as Doug was saying earlier today, embracing the technology. So there could be a couple of different strands of that overall marketing message.